Hey everyone, so I am coming on to do my spoiler review of the second episode of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which is streaming on Disney Plus. And of course, it's a Marvel series. I am a huge fan of Marvel, and if you're new to this channel, hello and welcome. So it's definitely a spoiler review, so whoever is watching this has already seen this episode, so don't say I didn't warn you if you get spoiled. Now, this episode definitely was a lot more fast-paced, and it definitely picked up from a slightly bit of a slow burner, as I was saying last week, the first episode. So basically it started off where John Walker was being introduced, properly as the new Captain America. And, he was a bit nervous of, going out into the crowd and everything. Now, he was in this episode sort of quite a bit, but what I loved was it focused very much so more so on Bucky and Sam's character, which I really, really loved, and we seen hilarity straight away with the two of them, which I will get to. And we did see this in the trailers anyway, so we knew it was going to be like a kind of like a buddy cop comedy, and it kind of reminds me of the humour of Lethal Weapon. So Sam's Red Wing was able to track down the leader of the Flag Smashers, which I was talking about last week, and basically they want to get rid of all borders, basically. But the humour in this episode was fantastic between these two characters. I absolutely love Sebastian Stan as Bucky. I absolutely love Captain America: The Winter Soldier. It is definitely up there as definitely in my top 3 favourite Marvel movies. And I loved when the therapist was talking to the two of them, and she said, right, okay, I want to play a game, the two of you, look at each other or what have you, and they turned their chairs around. She was like, closer, and they were like, what way do you want to do this? And like one of their knees was near like hitting into the other knee, Sam and Bucky, and that was absolutely hilarious. And there was actually a scene as well where Bucky and Falcon, the whole fight, by the way, that whole fight scene on the top of the trucks of the Flag Smashers was fantastic. And then Bucky and Falcon fell, and they were rolling along, and then they both ended up like literally right on top of each other, and it just looked so wrong, but it was absolutely hilarious. But that whole therapist part was really, really funny, and it was sort of him getting to explain, Bucky explained what he has against Sam, like what is his problem, and he explained, that really was so significant, that shield was super significant to Steve, and you just threw it away like it was nothing, or you just gave it away like it was nothing. So I liked that in this episode we got to see Bucky actually eventually explain to Sam, to his face, what the problem was, basically. And then Captain America, in the middle of the scene with the fight scene on top of the trucks, Captain America turns up, the new Captain America, and it's funny because Sam and Bucky aren't too pleased, and they're like, oh, have you ever been in a fight where you've used a grenade or this or that or the other? So I can't really remember. And they were trying to do like tit for tat, and the new Captain America was trying to, John Walker, who's playing the new Captain America, was trying to say, like, look, we can work together, come and we'll all work together. But they weren't having any of it. They didn't want to work alongside him, and you can understand with the whole sad emotional thing going on with they obviously have lost Steve, so you can understand where they're sort of coming from. And Bucky knew basically that they were all super soldiers, and there was actually 8 of them. So we know obviously, they're obviously have a lot of serum in them. But what was really cool was at the end we got to see the character Simo, who if you've seen Civil War, you will remember him from Civil War. He was basically the one who was making everybody be so against each other and so at each other, and he basically lost his family. He was like a Sokovian operative, and former Sokovian operative, and he lost his family during the battle of Avengers Age of Ultron, basically the Avengers Battle of Ultron. So he was actually seen in the very end scene of this in a jail cell. So I think that is going to be very interesting to set up for the third episode for next week. So it's crazy to think like we've had 2 episodes of this so far, but I loved how on point all the humour and everything was between Sam and Bucky. Like they're just getting on like Lethal Weapon, like they don't like each other, but I think it will end up where they will become very friendly and things like that, and I think Bucky will become a bit more understanding of Sam and how he felt that the weight of the shield was just a bit too much for him, and he'll maybe understand his side of things. I think that's what's going to happen, guys, and I really loved this episode. I thought that it was far more action packed, like the scene on the trucks and everything was class, and then the new Captain America and everything turning up, and then Falcon saying to Bucky, "That girl whooped your ass." That was hilarious. I just realised when I was editing, guys, that I completely forgot to mention my favourite funny part and my favourite part of this episode, which was when Bucky and Sam were talking about fights, and then they were talking about different fights and stuff, and they were talking about aliens, sorcerers, and droids that they'd been fighting, and that was super cool because, as you all know, Doctor Strange is my favourite character in Marvel. Well, Doctor Strange and Loki. So when he was talking about droids, that was referring to Ultron. So that was really cool. And also when they were talking about sorcerers, they were talking about Doctor Strange. And when we were talking about aliens, I'm guessing they were referring to Thanos. I did mention pretty much exactly what I've just said in one of my trailer reactions, because that exact scene was actually in one of the trailer reactions that I done. But I still wanted to mention that that was my favourite moment, and it was absolutely hilarious. So I really honestly enjoyed this episode overall, guys. I find that it was very well paced. You know, like last week I thought it was very slow moving, and I was a wee bit concerned that this week it wasn't going to really focus on literally Sam and Bucky, the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, but it really did. You know, they didn't go back to the whole story of him and his sister and the whole boat thing. His sister wasn't even in this episode at all. So I was really glad that we got to see what this show was meant to be about, which is Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So let me know down below what you all think. I think Sebastian Stan is a fantastic actor. I really do. They're both fantastic. But anyways, let me know what you think of this episode down in the comments, and I will speak to you all in my next video. So thank you so much for watching, guys, and I will see you all soon. Bye, guys.